So it was time to go ahead and start cutting up the other side of this car to cut the front of it off, and I wanted to give myself room to work with behind it. I wanted to get most of this whole front end off of the car so I could have easier access to the spot welds on the firewall. And I do have the whole front of a red Mach 1 that was taken off, and it's from the firewall forward, and so that's what I'm going to do for this car. So basically I was just keeping an eye on where I was cutting and cutting behind the strut towers and getting most of this front end cut off the car. So you can see that the front of the car is on jack stands, so all I have to do is remove this, and I did unplug and disconnect everything so far so that I can just remove the front of this car, but I did want to leave the air conditioning lines and everything in place with the condenser and all that up front. So it's going to have the whole front of this clip taken off, but I'll still have some of the things connected and the brake lines and everything coming forward. So it'll be a lot easier to work with this front out of the way. But this Sawzall did pretty well, just cutting right through and getting the whole front of it. You can see the whole front will move right here as I get through the bottom of the frame rail. And the frame rail has a section that's going to fit inside kind of like a cup area where the frame rail of the car will be opened up and the new frame rail from the new front end will fit inside of it. I know it's kind of difficult to imagine, but we'll show you when we get to that part. But just getting this all cut off was a relief. I had to be very careful not cutting through any brake lines or any hoses, and just going real slow and doing it as I went. And like I said, keeping a lot of that stuff on the front of the car. And so here you can see that getting the front was kind of a struggle once you get it off, to just kind of move it out of the way and keep all those other things from getting pinched or twisted off. And that air conditioning condenser there needs to stay where it is, and so I would just kind of struggle with it back and forth and try to put a tire underneath it to support it and stuff. But if you look here on the front right, you can see how crippled that is on the top right there. It's been hit pretty hard and pushed in pretty hard right there. Yeah, that would have taken a lot with a puller to get that all out and straightened. I'm glad I'm going this route with the car. Now, I wanted to go around and make things cleaned up and ready, and I found a use for these old anti-theft lug nut keys that were a hassle to get off the wheels that I got out of the wrecking yard. I kept them because I thought they looked nice, but I went ahead and put them on the brake line openings, and then I went back and taped them on there and put a bag around them so they'd be waterproof, and then zip tied around them so that they'd stay. But I thought that was pretty creative and a good use for those things because they're shiny and nice. I was like, man, I don't want to throw these away. But I don't want them on the car either, and I didn't have the key to them either, so I thought that was a good use of them. So this is how the car looks now with the whole front cut off, and now I can go in there and drill out all the little spot welds and get the remainder of the firewall pieces off of there with a much easier access to it. And this is a lot of progression for how long the car's been sitting. I know I could have been done with this car a lot sooner, but I've been taking my time and I've had other projects going on, and you know, it's getting cold and stuff, so I don't want to be out there all the time in the cold wind, and I'm just doing this at my own pace. But it's coming along nicely, and this is a pretty good leap of progression. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more of this car's project and more Mustang content.